You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready. I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 440, covering week 46, November 10th to 16th, 2025. The Trinity R14.1.5 desktop environment has been released, continuing the development of the KDE 3.5.x and Qt3 codebase. Binary packages will soon be prepared for Ubuntu, Debian, RHEL and CentOS, Fedora, Arch, OpenSUSE, and other distributions. Trinity's features include native display management tools, a UDEV-based hardware layer, a new hardware configuration interface, a switch to the Compton-TDE composite manager, an improved network configurator, and user authentication mechanisms. Trinity can be installed and used alongside more recent KDE releases, including the ability to use KDE applications already installed on the system. Trinity also includes features for correctly displaying GTK program interfaces without disrupting the unified design style. MX Linux 25, a lightweight distribution created through the collaboration between the Anti-X and X-Mepis communities, has been released. The release is based on Debian with improvements from the Anti-X project and packages from its own repository. The distribution uses a sysvinit init system and its own tools for configuration and deployment. x86-64 builds are available for download with the XFCE desktop, the KDE desktop, or the Fluxbox window manager. EasyEffects 8.0.0, formerly known as PulseEffects, has been released. The project develops a collection of plugins for Pipewire, a system service and graphical interface with an equalizer, spectrum analyzer, and various audio effects such as limiting maximum volume, reducing dynamic range, leveling volume, filtering out specific frequencies, and eliminating noise. Effects can be configured and linked to individual applications. The project code is written in C++ and is distributed under the GPL v3 license. The developers of KDE Plasma Mobile have released the KDE Plasma 6.5 edition of the desktop environment for mobile devices. Pre-built builds of KDE Plasma Mobile 6.5 are available for download from the Postmarket OS distribution's testing repository. You can also try out KDE Plasma Mobile using the Fedora KDE Plasma Mobile Spin build. The suite includes applications such as KDE Connect for connecting your phone to your desktop, the Ocular Document Viewer, the Vivave Music Player, the Coco and Pix image viewers, the Buho note-taking system, the Calendori Calendar Manager, the Index File Manager, the Discover Application Manager, the Spacebar SMS program, the Plasma-Phonebook Address Book, the Plasma-Dialer Phone Call Interface, the Plasma-Angelfish Browser, and the Spectral Instant Messenger. A patch release of Apache OpenOffice 4.1.16 has been released, fixing 7 vulnerabilities and several bugs. Ready-to-use packages are available for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. Triblix 38, a distribution based on the work of the Illumos project, has been released. The project continues to develop the kernel, network stack, file system drivers, libraries, and core system utilities for OpenSolaris. The project strives to preserve the classic retro style of Solaris while using modern software versions. The kernel and command line tools are borrowed from Illumos, while everything else is rebuilt using its own build systems. SVR4 packages are used for software distribution. XFCE, Mate, and Enlightenment are offered as graphical environments. Pre-built builds are available for x86-64 systems. The GNU project released their GNU Taler 1.1, an open-source electronic payment system. The platform has been deemed ready for the implementation of working payment services and can now be legally used for selling goods in Switzerland. Businesses wishing to set up sales payments using GNU Taler simply need to have an account with any Swiss bank and launch the platform's sales backend. The GNU Taler code is written in C and is distributed under the AGPL v3 and LGPL v3 licenses. It includes core components for running a bank, exchange, marketplace, wallet, and auditor. The system identifies sellers for tax reporting purposes while maintaining anonymity for buyers. Funding for the development is provided by grants from the European Commission and the Swiss State Secretariat for Education, Research, and Innovation. Already completed transactions in GNU Taler remain authentic even if the private keys of clients, merchants, and exchange points are leaked. The database format allows for verification of all completed transactions and confirmation of their consistency. Payment confirmation for merchants is provided by a cryptographic proof of the transfer within the contract concluded with the client and a cryptographically signed confirmation of the presence of funds at the exchange point. The system does not allow the client to know how the money is spent, but it does allow the recipient to track the funds receipt while maintaining the sender's anonymity. This approach solves the tax audit issues inherent in Bitcoin. The developers of the YT-DLP project, which continues to develop the YouTube-DL tool for downloading audio and video from online services, announced that starting with today's YT-DLP release 2025.11.12, an external JavaScript engine is required to fully download content from YouTube. The use of a JavaScript engine is due to the introduction of checks in YouTube that require JavaScript code to be executed. Support for accessing YouTube without JavaScript has been deprecated in YT-DLP. While some videos may still load without JavaScript, the supported formats are limited and are expected to worsen over time. The YT-DLP developers will now treat failures that occur when loading YouTube content without JavaScript as issues rather than bugs. Going forward, accessing YouTube without JavaScript is expected to become impossible. Supported JavaScript runtimes include Deno, recommended, Node.js, QuickJS, QuickJS-NG, and Bun. Additionally, working with the JavaScript runtime in YT-DLP requires installing the YT-DLP-EJS component, which is included in the official builds. To use it, simply install the desired JavaScript runtime through the distribution's package manager. Matthew Kacarek, developer at Canonical, has released the version 0.8 of the Miracle-WM Compositing Manager, which uses the Wayland protocol and Mir Compositing Manager components. Miracle-WM supports tiling windows similar to those in the i3 and Sway projects. A waybar can be used as a panel. The project's code is written in C++ and distributed in the GPL v3 license. The finished builds are available in Snap format as well as RPM and deb packages for Fedora and Ubuntu. The goal of Miracle-WM is to create a composite server that utilizes tiled window management, but is more functional and stylish than projects like SwayFX. The project also supports classic floating window techniques, such as placing individual windows on top of a tiled grid or pinning windows to a specific location on the desktop. It supports virtual desktops with the ability to set a default window management mode for each desktop, tiled layout, or floating windows. Miracle-WM is intended to be useful for users who prefer a tiled layout but desire visual effects and a more vibrant graphical design with smooth transitions and colors. Configuration is defined in YAML format. To install Miracle-WM, use the command sudo snap install Miracle-WM tictic classic. Canonical announced a 15-year update tier for Ubuntu LTS releases. This extension applies to all current LTS releases, starting with Ubuntu 14.04. This means Ubuntu 14.04 will receive support until April 2029, Ubuntu 24.04 will receive updates until 2039, Ubuntu 22.04 until 2037, etc. Public updates will continue to be published for 5 years after release, and for the remaining 10 years, fixes will be provided only to Ubuntu Pro users. Ubuntu Pro is a paid service for commercial use. Personal users can sign up for a free Ubuntu Pro subscription to receive extended updates for up to 5 machines. Official Ubuntu community members can receive free extended updates for up to 50 machines. Vivaldi 7.7, a proprietary browser developed using the Chromium engine by former Opera Presto developers, has been released. Vivaldi builds are available for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. The project distributes changes to the Chromium codebase under an open-source license. The browser interface is written in JavaScript using the React library, Node.js, Browserify, and various ready-made NPM modules. The interface implementation is available in source code but under a proprietary license. The project aims to create a customizable and functional browser that preserves user privacy. Key features include a tracking and ad blocking, note, history, and bookmark managers, a private browsing mode, end-to-end encrypted sync, tab grouping, a sidebar, a highly customizable configurator, a horizontal tab display mode, and in test mode, a built-in email client, RSS reader, and calendar. Thunderbird 145.0, the community-developed email client based on Mozilla Technologies, is now available. Thunderbird 145 is built on the Firefox 145 codebase and is considered an interim release, with updates released until the next release. Thunderbird 140.5.0 has been released on the ESR branch, a long-term support branch with updates released throughout the year. Microsoft Exchange support has been added using the EWS API. Support is currently limited to email only. Support for calendar and address book applications will be added later. The built-in implementation of the Microsoft Exchange protocol is written in Rust and can be used without installing third-party add-ons. CRIU 4.2, which stands for Checkpoint and Restore in User Space, a toolkit designed for saving and restoring processes in user space, has been released. The toolkit allows saving the state of one or a group of processes and then resuming execution from the saved state, including after a system reboot or on a different server, without disrupting existing network connections. The project's code is written in C and distributed under the GPL v2 license. CRIU is used in container management systems such as OpenVZ, LXC/LXD, and Docker. The changes required for Creo to work have been incorporated into the mainline Linux kernel. The areas of application of Creo technology include ensuring OS reboot without disrupting the continuity of long-running processes, live migration of isolated containers, accelerating the launch of slow processes, performing kernel updates without restarting services, periodically saving the state of long-running computing tasks to resume work in the event of an abnormal termination, load balancing on nodes in clusters, duplicating processes to another machine, creating snapshots of user applications during operation for their analysis on another system, or in case it is necessary to cancel further actions in the program. Valve has released Proton 10.0-3, a project based on the Wine code base that aims to enable Windows-based Steam gaming applications to run on Linux. 10.0-3 is the first stable release of the 10.0 branch. The project's code is distributed under a BSD license. The package includes implementations of DirectX 8, 9, 10, and 11 based on the DXVK package, and DirectX 12 based on VKD 3D-Proton, which work by translating DirectX calls to the Vulkan API. It provides improved support for game controllers and the ability to use full-screen mode regardless of the game's supported screen resolutions. To improve the performance of multi-threaded games, the eSync and Futex/Fsync mechanisms are supported. The second corrective update for Debian 13 has been released, incorporating accumulated package updates and fixes to the installer. This release includes 123 updates addressing stability issues and 55 updates addressing vulnerabilities. Changes in Debian 13.2 include updates to the latest stable versions of the following packages: 7-zip, Ansible-core, DKMS, Epiphany-browser, Evolution, Fonts-Noto-color-emoji, MailMinder, Nextcloud-desktop, OpenSSL, Patroni, Postfix, QEMU, QuickText, Samba, Systemd, TBSync, uBlock-Origin, and Xnote. The Rust Profiling Pro Macros package has been removed from the distribution and marked as unused. Debian 13.2 installation builds will be available for download and installation from scratch soon. Previously installed and maintained systems receive updates included in Debian 13.2 through the standard update system. Security fixes included in new Debian releases are available to users as updates are released through security.debian.org. Servo 0.0.2, the browser engine developed alongside Servo Shell, a demo browser developed in Rust, has been released. This release is functionally identical to the November 14th nightly build, which has undergone additional manual testing. Complete builds are available for Linux, Android, Mac OS, and Windows. The engine was originally developed by Mozilla, but later came under the wing of the Linux Foundation. Servo features support for multi-threaded web page rendering, parallelization of DOM, document object model operations, and the use of safe programming mechanisms provided by the Rust language. Servo was built from the ground up to support splitting DOM and rendering code into smaller subtasks that can be executed in parallel and more efficiently utilize multi-core CPUs. Firefox already integrates some parts of Servo, such as the multi-threaded CSS engine and the WebRender rendering system. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.